Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to The Last Dispensation. I'm your host, Troy Abels. I've got a little interesting tidbit for you once again. I like tidbits. I like interesting things. I like little gifts. I like to give little gifts. I like to receive little gifts. And I received one. And it is this, an LDS YouTuber and subscriber to my channel, commented in the comment section on the 10, one of my Lost 10 Tribes videos. I think it's the one, the church has no official stance on the Lost 10 Tribes. So, she goes by S. Kemp D. Interesting Q&A from BYU Education regarding Lost 10 Tribes. It's a Q&A with Bruce R. McConkie, one of our apostles, that passed away in the 80s. From cancer. Good man. Inspired man. And this is a Q&A. It starts off like this. We as a church have been commissioned to gather scattered Israel, which we do by sending out missionaries to declare Christ and to invite all who believe to be baptized. When appropriate, those baptized are invited to gather the saints as they did in Kirtland, Nauvoo, and the Rocky Mountains during Pioneer days. This is so that they can receive the full blessings of the temple. Now that the church is in a position to take temples to the ends of the earth, members of the church in foreign lands are asked to stay in their homelands and build up Zion there. So here's the first question. Does this apply in the same way to the lost tribes? Answer from Bruce R. McConkie. Yes, the plan of salvation is the same for all alike. Here's the next question. This seems to suggest that the lost 10 tribes are lost spiritually rather than physically. Would that be correct? His answer was yes. They are lost in the same sense that the children of Israel were lost when Moses went to them. Not in the sense that they have no knowledge of their longitude and latitude, that they cannot find themselves on a map, or that they cannot find a road that will lead them back to civilization. They are lost in the sense that they do not know what promises were made to their fathers. They do not know the saving truths of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and they do not know where the truth is to be found. Brothers and sisters, before the internet, and not just the internet, before the last 2 or 3 decades, there were lots of Heavenly Father's children in many different, in the 4 corners of the earth that you could categorize as this. Here's the next question. There certainly seems to be a lot of confusion about the return of the 10 tribes. Is the gathering of Israel and the return of the 10 tribes one event or two? This is what he said. The gathering of Israel is one thing, stated Elder Bruce R. McConkie. So he's talking about gathering all of Israel. The return of the 10 tribes to a specific place is another, and Moses gave to men in our day the keys and power to perform both labors. Question. Relative to the return of the 10 tribes, what are we to understand about the promise that their prophets will lead them? This was his answer. This was his answer. And he clarifies who those prophets are. Again, Elder McConkie responded, they're prophets? Well, who are they? Are they to be holy men called from some unknown place and people? Are they prophets unbeknown to the presiding officers of the, quote, the only true and living church upon the face of the earth? Close quote. Perish the thought, he says. The president of the church, who holds the keys to lead the 10 tribes from the nations of the north, wherein they now reside, holds also the keys of salvation for all men. There are not 2 churches on the earth, only one. There are not 2 gospels or 2 plans of salvation, only one. There are not 2 competing organizations, both having divine approval, only one. Is Christ divided? God forbid. Their prophets are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They are stake presidents and bishops and quorum presidents who are appointed to guide and direct the destinies of their stakes and wards and quorums. Here's the next question. Do we know anything about the highway that is spoken of as being cast up in the great deep, upon which the 10 tribes are to return? Here is the answer. The language comes from Isaiah. We will let him respond. And an highway shall be there, and a way, and it shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men. Thou fools, shall not err therein. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there, and the ransom of the Lord shall return, and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighings shall flee away. Isaiah chapter 35, 8 through 10. And this is what Elder McConkie concluded with. Isaiah was speaking of the straight and narrow path, not a physical highway built of asphalt or cement.